everyone. Welcome back to Long Live Rock. So today, which is October 2nd, Saturday, we're going to do a song from the recent Who album. Yes, recent Who album. And the album is simply just called Who. And we've already done one song off of it. This song here is special. You always hear the detractors out there, well, they're not really the Who because it's Keith and John, blah, 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 blah. Well, you could have said that about Rolling Stones when Brian Jones died, okay? So, it's not the Rolling Stones, if you go by that metric. But see, I'm not into all that bullshit. I'm not into charts. I'm not into people comparing each other. I'm not into telling people, what you should listen to. All I do is bring it to the table, and if you like it, well, great. And then crank it up and make sure you support the band any way you can. Meaning, like, go to the concerts and shit. But, and the same thing with the negativity towards bands. I'm not doing that. That's just, that's not what rock and roll was all about. And I see it all over the internet. And, it's like, wow, why does everybody have to be like that? Like rock and roll, the one thing it's supposed to be is fun. Okay? Number one, fun. After that, you can add stuff. But number one, rock and roll is supposed to be fun. So to sit there as a critic and go, well, you suck because your guitar wasn't quite like this, blah, 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 blah. Well, no, man, that's just bullshit. And they've ruined the music business, and the music business has ruined the music business. I'm going to do a separate video of my thoughts on the entire music business. And I'll tell them exactly what they've done wrong. And I will be right, and I will be proven right. Anyways, all that aside, if you didn't know that Keith and John were dead, you might very well think that they're alive and playing on this song, because this is pure 1968 Magic Bus kind of style. Who, with just drums, bass, guitar, Daltrey on lead vocals, a little bit of harmony, like the two of them singing, and I think there's just a tad of keyboard in there, but they stuck mostly to the hard rock and that mid, say 67, 68, before they did Tommy. Anyway, let's have at her.
Detour. 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 We got to make a detour. The people try to crash right down, shoot at the sky, crazy with rage. We're all good people if you go deep down, but we gotta be in keeping with the brand new age. Time for a detour. We gotta take the curve, taking the detour. Ooh, it's time for a swerve. The world's in a spin now. It's time for a change. We know we can't win now. We'll share the ways, we cause no pain. We can't explain, we lost the force. We went off course. We need a detour. Detour. With a curve and a swerve. Detour. Forget that far from back in the days. All we saw as we took the stage. Maybe 15 years to revive our ways. Our direction veers as we turn the page. Gotta take a detour. We road is blocked. Time for a detour. Ooh, the gates are locked. We're finally tracking in the path of the groove. We're willingly backing the path of the moon. There'll be no more pain. We can't explain. We found the force. We're back on course. We did a detour. Don't hit the detour. With a curve and a swerve. Detour. Used to say I love you, but I was straight insane. I always let you hold me to let out my pain. 'Cause I couldn't stay for even one more day. I broke too
Now, wasn't that a Who song and the classic sound? But of course, modern technology. Different drummer, yeah, Zach Starkey. Keith Moon gave him his first lesson in his first drum kit. Pino Palladino on bass is well known as one of the greatest bass session bassists and workhorse bassists in the world. And the only difference between him and John playing on a song like this, where John might put 24 notes in like 3 seconds, Pino will do half of that. Okay, John was totally unique way of playing, but as you can hear from the bass, it's good enough. It works. And John wasn't always Mr. Butterfingers on every song either. He knew when to pull back and push. But Zach, how can you complain about that drumming? That's as close to Mooney you're going to get from anyone today. That's like a big name. I don't know, there might be somebody out there, but I got a good ear for Mooney style drumming. Okay, and because it's the first thing that influenced me when I first heard the Who way back when I was like 5 years old. It was the drumming. I was like, oof. And then finally they played, and I actually saw it live on TV. They played on the Smother Brothers, and that's the one where they blew up the drum kit, and Mooney had put too much too much explosive in there, and Townsend, that's how he got his tinnitus. Is that how they say that? Tinnitus. Anyways, he'd been half deaf, but Mooney behind the kit and drumming like that, and then kicking the drums and everything all over the place, and of course and there's Tommy. Which Smothers? The blonde hair one that looked like Carson. Anyways, I think that's Tommy Smothers. Anyways, he's just sitting there going, whoa. I don't think he expected that. So I'm sure they didn't expect the explosion, because Mooney, I guess, did it like on the QT, and whoever he got doing it with him, they way overpacked it. Anyways, close your eyes, crank it up, and tell me that don't sound like a Who song. They wouldn't sound like that sound today that you're hearing. And if it was Mooney, okay, he'd be much older. He'd probably do that drumming if he was stayed in shape and everything. And of course, Entwistle. But, they had their own style. This is a newer Who, okay? Just like the Stones, the Kinks, they don't have their original bass player, okay? All that stuff. Anyway, that's just nonsense stuff. Just enjoy the fucking music and forget about all the Billboard and Rolling Stone. And then competing. Musicians aren't supposed to compete with each other. Anyways. All right, well, thanks for coming. I have very strong feelings when it comes to this subject, and especially when it regards the Who, and I hear these nonsense saying, well, that ain't the Who. Well, Pete Townsend's still writing the songs like he did all those years. Roger Daltrey, and it still sounds like them. And they manage very luckily. They have to be the luckiest fucking band in the world, and we're the luckiest fans in the world, that they were able to put a new bass player in there and a drummer and almost get the original Who sound, which I didn't think anybody, even themselves, were capable, or there were people out there capable of reproducing that. I'll take it, rather than not hearing from them since September of 1978 when Keith died, and then John dying there back in 2002. I was to go to the concert in Toronto, and that was canceled, and no, I didn't go. I was so freaked out about Entwistle dying, the story, hookers in a hotel and coke and all that. And I'm going, yeah, he blew up his heart. It made me think back when I used to do the nose. And I'm thinking, if I ever did that today, my heart would just go and I'd be gone. And I can imagine that's probably what happened to John, because I guess his heart wasn't in the best of shape, and he certainly didn't look after himself. But that's all right. He lived the rock star life, and he apologized to no one to it, and he never had to apologize himself to it. That's the way he was. That's all four of them were like that. And back in the day, it was like, I love them because it was the I don't give a fuck attitude kind of thing. I'm going to play what I'm going to play. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Anyways, and I can't explain, but it is my generation. Oh, that's bad. All right, thanks for coming, folks. Appreciate your comments, having fun, really having fun with this, sharing the music with you. I'm going to stay at it. We're going to find thousands, man, and just recreate the 60s, 70s, and 80s best as we can. I don't mean like copy, but that wealth of music. And since there's no DJs that can program on their own, hopefully, I'm doing this in the way that it used to be, where you go, holy fuck, what's that? He's playing this? Oh, that's the way it used to be with DJs. And that's how you got introduced to new bands, like the Breakers in that other video. Had they been here and some DJ, heard the song and took to it, let's say in New Jersey or somewhere, well, they start playing that, and day after day, it starts to spread. If it catches. If it doesn't catch, it'll never leave, that radio station in that area. But that's rock and roll. It's either going to go or it's not. And but now there's no thing. I mean, there's probably no even people. If there's still radio, I assume, it's probably just computers. And somebody going like that. That's not what rock and roll is supposed to be. I'm getting on my fucking soapbox. Everybody have a good weekend, the rest of your weekend. Thanks for coming, as I said. If you wish to donate or help the channel, there's down in the description, there's a place to buy me a coffee. And all my other links and everything are at the end of the video on those little cardy things that go all the way, whatever. And I'm not talking about Cardi B. Fuck, that ain't my music. See you later.